The practice of subaquatic celebration in Vancouver has a long tradition behind it, looking back as it does to the first polar bear swim held on the beach at English Bay in 1920. The new year marks a soggy and bedraggled end to the Yuletide season, and its arrival inevitably comes too shockingly soon for those just reaching their stride in Christmas spirit. But for many, it provides a useful point at which to look back at the mistakes of the past, and to peer inquisitively into the future, with a hope that the new year will see us making better wardrobe choices. Originally an event in which the upper classes got to rub shoulders with the pierced nipple set, it has in recent years become a much looser kind of celebration, with casual elegance being the sartorial tone aimed for by the more upwardly mobile of those attending. Which is not to say that standards have been allowed to drop, and double Windsor knots are commonly seen on the necks of those whose fashion crimes would otherwise merit them a gallows noose.
Okay. I'm ready now.
Wow.
Indeed, preparation is the very watchword of this important cultural event. These Chinese participants are leaving nothing to chance as they practice the motor skills required for carrying off heavy stacks of U.S. government bonds, and the motions essential to repelling outside interference in Chinese internal affairs. Elsewhere, Alcoa executives, disguised as representatives of the Icelandic banking sector, are befriending the local population, cheerfully trying to convince them that they need an aluminum smelter in the middle of Stanley Park. Members of the diplomatic corps, their chests festooned with medals, are well represented at these affairs, and gladly stop to be photographed with members of the general public. Sporting celebrities like Tiger Woods also appear.
Tiger's coming through! Tiger's coming through!
This year he brought with him a large collection of mistresses, indexed by number for easy reference. Choral singing has always been an integral part of the festivities, but while group spirit is everywhere in the ascendant, and national pride certainly not lacking, vocal delivery is distinctly sub-operatic in quality, with a pitch range characteristic of that heard by Beethoven in his last years. These members of the choral society, named in honor of Vincent van Gogh's ear, are also members of the Beach Charades Club, seen here enacting a visual representation of the famous line, "Oh, look on my works, ye mighty, and despair," from Percy Bysshe Shelley's pyramid-pillaring poem Ozymandias. But once the preliminaries are over with, excitement builds in anticipation of the big plunge. Let's drop in on one group of international participants, some of whom appear to be channeling Sylvester Stallone as Rocky.
Donald is taken out with... Are these Brits?
Huh?
Are you Brits?
Australian.
Sorry!
It's okay, get along.
Okay. Rafet is the clothes guy and brandy distributor. Where are you guys from?
Belgium.
Belgium! It's international corner here with Belgium, Australia, and Canada represented. And France. Oh, yes.
Many here follow Dr. Johnson in believing that brandy is for heroes, indeed that sobriety and heroism are mutually exclusive concepts. The rituals immediately preceding ocean entry are many and varied. Medieval historians of the younger generation often mark the occasion by shouting the year in which Marco Polo set off for China.
1271!
Naked guy over there?
Here is a particularly fertile exchange of cultural information between an Islamic jihad scholar and a crusading Icelandic-Canadian journalist.
Okay, Rafet, what do they say when they're charging in a Muslim holy war? Ali Akbar.
No, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar. We say, Lugberg Heimskringa.
That's Donald.
Whatever the slogan selected, the moment for action inevitably arrives. Here we see our stalwarts making for the shore with a last prayer to St. Jude, patron saint of the downtrodden and protector of those with wet hair. With an eye to detail that is his trademark,
Where's my umbrella?
the group leader takes his flocks down to the water's edge, where an unpleasant discovery is made. But the first dives are undertaken nonetheless, with some using the direct approach, others slipping in with a sly postmodern reference to Mary Poppins. But the end result is always the same: a few well-chosen expletives and a quick scamper back to shore for a small press conference.
Okay? That's an experience.
Inspired by the example of these brave pioneers, others soon make their way to the shore. And before long, wave after wave of beach bedlamites can be seen plunging headlong into the frigid waters of Vancouver's English Bay. Meanwhile, back on shore, Santa and his reindeer are beating a hasty retreat as our crew heads for the awards table to accept their service medals. These badges of honor will be cherished heirlooms to be passed down from generation to generation.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mute witnesses to the courage of those whose alcoholic intake overwhelmed once again this year their common sense. And so we say goodbye to the Polar Bear Swim for 2010, confident that as long as water is wet, Vancouver will continue to provide its citizens with a festive way of getting in touch with their inner drowned cat.
That is a staggeringly novel experience.
Cut!